You know those moments when you tell yourself, this time it's going to be different. You're going to follow through, you're going to stay consistent and actually stick with it this time. Yet somehow you find yourself right back in the same place again and starting over again. If you have ever felt like you just keep starting over and over again, this episode is going to change how you see everything.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Carrie Marie, and this is season 3 of Holistic Mama Speaks, the podcast where I share tips and insights and real talk about living happier, living healthier, living more abundantly, and living on purpose. From prioritizing and time management to detoxing and realigning your body, home life, work life, boosting self-worth, confidence, to holistic wellness, family, relationships, and everything in between. I've got you covered. That's why it's holistic. Whether you are juggling mom life, chasing your big dream, or just looking for ways to feel better inside and out, you are in the right place. And I'm so excited that you are here. So just a quick note, I am not a doctor, therapist, or financial advisor. I'm just here to share what's worked for me and others who I've worked with, and from what I've learned and picked up along the way. So for a full disclosure on everything, head on over to holisticmamaspeaks.com. Let's dive into the episode. So we are back again with another special birthday month episode. This is super special because it is my birthday month. We're talking about something that I'm super passionate about, and that is you decide this week will be different. You're going to eat better, be more patient, stick to your plan, follow through. And for a little while, you do. Then something happens. You get overwhelmed, you get tired, you get triggered. And then just like that, you are right back in the same pattern again. Can you relate to any of that? You think, what's wrong with me? Or why can't I just stay consistent? Or why do I keep starting over again? But here's the truth. You're not actually starting all over again. You're looping. You're in a looping pattern. And you know what? Sometimes you don't even realize that you're in this pattern, right? Most people don't have a problem with motivation, staying motivated, keeping motivated. That's not really the problem. They have this pattern problem. And they just keep getting stuck in this loop over and over again, repeating itself over and over again. It's like, how many times do I have to keep starting over? How many times do I have to keep learning the same lesson over and over again? I don't need to keep having the same things happen again, right? And you know what? Patterns are usually always driven by stuck points. And that's why it feels like you overthink things and then do nothing. Have you ever done that? Have you ever overthought a situation? Maybe you have this great idea and then you think about it in all of these different ways, and then you get to overthinking it, and then you're overwhelmed and you're like, and you just don't end up doing anything. Maybe you have a great idea of cleaning your whole house or organizing a whole room. And then you're like, where do I start? What do I do? What do I do with this? How do I do this? And then you ended up just like not doing it at all. Have you ever done that? Or maybe this is a big one. Maybe you set boundaries with people in your life, maybe people you work with, maybe family members, maybe friends, maybe an annoying neighbor. You set your boundaries, like, I'm not going to take it again. I'm not going to keep saying yes to them. I'm not going to keep doing whatever they want or whatever it is. But then you immediately break them. Or maybe you get motivated to do something new, to try something new, or to start something healthy or whatever. Then you lose momentum. Or you feel super clear and confident about something, then you start second guessing everything. Those things are not random. It's a loop, it's a pattern that you're into. And until this loop is interrupted, it keeps repeating itself. So you're probably wondering, what is even triggering this loop? Why do I keep getting stuck in this same loop over and over and over again? And I mentioned before, stuck points. They don't just show up when everything is calm. They show up when you're stressed. They show up when you're tired. They show up when you feel pressure. They show up when something emotional gets activated. And I don't know about you, but my emotions get activated quite often. That's why sometimes you can feel fine, and I say fine in quotations because sometimes we say that. Don't you think that like when somebody asks you how you're doing, you're like, "Oh, fine." But anyway, you feel fine one moment and then you're completely off the next moment. You just don't feel like yourself. You're not in the same mindset, the same mind space. You don't feel the same about whatever it was that you were doing. It's not that you changed, you're still the same person. You still want the same things in life, right? For the most part. But it's just something underneath is getting triggered that's causing you to get back in that loop, that pattern. And sometimes willpower just isn't enough. This is where most people get stuck. They try to push through, just like, okay, I'll get through this. I'll get through it this time. Or maybe try harder. Like, maybe I didn't try hard enough last time. I'll try harder again this time. I'll be stronger. That's it. I'll be stronger. I can do this. I'll be more disciplined. That's it. But you know what? If a stuck point is running under the surface and running the pattern, running that loop, willpower will only work temporarily. It will work for a short time, but then eventually the loop wins out. That stuck point wins out. And not because you're weak. There's nothing wrong with you. Let me tell you this. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not a weak person. This can happen to anyone. And it happens to more people than you would believe. Sometimes I think in the day and age of social media where everybody posts the good stuff online, we can easily get jealous of what other people have going on, envious. Maybe we're like, oh, they have it so together. And I'm just falling apart over here. I keep getting stuck in these stupid patterns and I can't get out of them. You know what? Everyone's going through this, but you just don't realize it because they're not sharing it. They're not talking about how stressed and frustrated and overwhelmed they are. They're not talking about these loops, these patterns that just keep getting them stuck over and over again. So it's okay. You are not weak and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just that this pattern and this stuck point is still alive and still running the show beneath the surface. So let's talk about what to do about it. Hey, friend, just a quick pause in our show. I just wanted to mention if this is really hitting home with you so far, I created something that I think that you will love. My new workbook, Unstickify Your Life, is a 30-day journey designed to help you to get unstuck, reset, and thrive in your life. Check it out at unstickifyyourlife.com. Here are 3 ways to start breaking the loop. Who is excited? Do a little happy dance, woohoo! Because who wants to start breaking these loops? Yes, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to interrupt that pattern. Interrupt that loop. Okay, here we go. Number 1, catch it faster. Okay, easier said than done, right? But hear me out. The goal isn't to never fall back into the pattern again, because sometimes we just revert back to doing things the old way. But the goal is to notice it sooner. Be aware. So instead of, oh, I'm messing everything up again, or here we go again, be like, there it is. Okay, it's happening again, but I'm now aware of it. Because you know what? Awareness shortens the loop. Awareness is so key for everything. If we want to make any change, if we want to interrupt any pattern, we have to first become aware that we're in the pattern to begin with, right? Because how can we change something that we're not aware of? So awareness is key. That's number one. Number two is to change one response. So you don't have to fix everything. You don't have to completely overhaul everything and think, "Oh my goodness, I'm in this loop again. I need to do everything differently in my life right now." Nope. Nope. Don't do that because then that in itself will become overwhelming. So you don't have to fix everything. You don't have to change everything. You just need to shift one thing. All right? So pause instead of reacting. Maybe you're in this loop of always reacting in the same way to something that's happening. Try pausing for a moment instead of reacting, or try saying no instead of yes, or try just pausing and taking a breath instead of rushing. Small changes can break big patterns. Keep that in mind. So the first one was just becoming aware. Then the second one is making one slight change to something that you usually do. It might be a little tricky at first. This is a practice. We're always practicing. Everything is a practice. Never beat yourself up if you fall back into doing things an old way, a self-sabotaging way. Don't beat yourself up. Give yourself grace and realize, hey, it's a practice. I'm getting better. I have to practice at it more and more so that I get better and better at it. And that's the thing. Once you get good at this, it will become easy to recognize the pattern sooner. It will become easier to make a quick change instead of falling back into the same old pattern. And number three is stop fighting yourself. If something keeps happening, it's not because you're failing. Remember, it's because something underneath hasn't been cleared yet. Once it's been cleared, once it's been released, guess what? The pattern doesn't have anything to run on anymore. It's literally just kicked out. So don't beat yourself up. Stop fighting yourself. Stop giving yourself a hard time and recognize that there's something underneath and it can be released. All right. The shift that changes everything. So keep in mind, again, I want to just reiterate this because I know sometimes we get into self beat up mode. We are very hard on ourselves, especially when we realize that we're falling into the same old things again. Like, how could this be happening again? But I want you to remember you're not broken, you're patterned. You're in that loop. And patterns can change, patterns can be broken, but not by forcing it. Forcing it's not going to help, but by becoming aware, by interrupting, and sometimes by releasing what has been driving it all along. Hey, friend, another quick pause. If you are ready to go even deeper on this journey and truly start getting unstuck, I'd love to invite you to join the Unstickify Your Life Academy. As a very special gift to my listeners, you can receive free access to the Academy right now. Plus, you will be entered to win a free stuck point scan where we'll just pinpoint the biggest area that you may be stuck in and that's holding you back. Visit holisticmamaspeaks.com/academy to learn more and to grab your free access. Your next level might just be one step away. If you have felt like this has happened to you and this is relatable and you just keep starting over and over again, remember, you're not starting over because now you know what to do. What's happening to you is you're being pulled back into something that's familiar. And the moment you break that cycle, you don't just move forward, you move forward differently. You are now a new person with tools in your tool belt. And that's where real change begins. And if you're wondering how do I get unstuck? First of all, I have a really cool tool and it's absolutely free. It is a quiz that you can take. to find out where you're stuck and what to do next. That's helpful because those stuck points that are running the surface, that's what's keeping you in those loops. If you go to stuckpointquiz.com, you take a quiz, 100% free and immediate results. You're going to find out the moment you finish that quiz exactly where you're stuck and what to do. So head on over to stuckpointquiz.com. I highly encourage it. Even if you don't find yourself in the same patterns all the time, you might not be where you want to be in life. You might not be accomplishing the goals that you want. It can be helpful in so many different areas of your life. So I highly recommend it. Again, it's stuckpointquiz.com. And I hope you have an absolutely amazing and beautiful rest of your day. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for joining me today for Holistic Mama Speaks. If you loved this episode, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Share it with a friend who needs some help and encouragement and who really just needs to hear what's in this episode. And also don't forget to leave a review and or rating wherever you are listening to this podcast. It helps the podcast to reach those who need to hear this message. So you can also head on over to holisticmamaspeaks.com for show notes, for free resources, and for more to support you along your journey. Thank you again for joining me today. See you next time.